What inspired me to write The Winter War? Well, first of all, the really cold and terrible winter in Helsinki, and you say that people, you know, in war situations, people really do things that they wouldn't normally do. And I really think that people also in Finland in the winter do things that they wouldn't do in the summer. Because life just seems so much harder. In November this year, we had like 13 hours of sunlight, the whole month. So I think it affects people really much, and people have lots of ways of coping with that. I mean, everything from sun therapy or light therapy to drinking alcohol. I guess also I knew I wanted to write a family story because I knew it was going to be my debut novel, and I really liked the concept of the family story and the book with many characters. So we had the Winter War with the Soviet Union, and then later on we had the continuation war with the Soviet Union with the Germans, and it's this war where it's become this legacy because Finland was a very small country and the Finnish army was a very small army, and we were against the big Soviet Union, and we actually killed off a lot of Russians. Which of course, I mean, war is terrible, but it became for a long time, for many decades, it was this hero story in Finland actually, and writers started to also, I mean, question the whole narrative of heroism. The Winter War is almost like this big shadow over everybody in Finland who's wanting to write books, because you have to decide how you're gonna take in the Winter War in your novels. Especially if you write about families, because all the families in Finland have in some way been affected. It was a name that stuck because it became sort of a metaphor for the marriage in the novel and the people and how they all choose these sides. And there's some sort of war going on within the family. I think that the cruise in the middle of the book, when the family goes on this cruise to Stockholm, that's the scene that is mostly drawn on my own experiences, because I haven't been on the dance floor with the Moomin Trolls, but I maybe watched it from the sideline. Yeah, so we spent all our Christmases when I was a kid at my grandmother's house, and it was these were really magical Christmases, but she was a really bad cook. So there was always this experience you had to go through before you could get to the presents, because we opened the presents in Christmas Eve in Finland. And so first we had to sit down and eat her really bad food, and she was actually a terrible cook. Later on I read Jonathan Franzen's The Corrections, and he really describes that very well. He has this one scene when this boy is sitting eating like mashed potatoes or something, and he can't leave the table, and they find him the next day at the table or something like that, and it just felt like, how did he know what it was like to be at my grandmother's house at Christmas?